Hello, welcome back. Happy whatever day it is. This is the fourth part of the series that I have been doing on the 12 universal laws, and this one is, we're going to wrap it up with the last three laws, which are the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and the law of gender. So they are the three that I'm going to be talking about today in this video. If you haven't checked out the other three, where I talk about all the other 9, go check them out. The links will be somewhere below, above, at the side, somewhere. I'll pop them in the comments as well for you. Go and have a look at them. Go and read up on all of them. But let's wrap this up with the final 3 laws. One thing I have forgotten to do over the course of these videos is actually introduce myself, and it's like I'm getting around to doing it now on the last one, but you know, if you got here first, that's all good. And hopefully if you've seen the others, you've been around me before and you know who I am anyway. But I am Jane. I am a mindset coach who specializes in transforming people's mindsets, and actually also I work with the law of attraction and manifesting, which is why I'm talking about these 12 universal laws. So if that all sounds good to you, please like, please subscribe, please ring the bell, wherever that is, somewhere along here, and get the word out and share me about so that everybody can learn about these laws. The thing is with the 12 universal laws, and I've said this in the other prior videos to this one, nobody really knows about the other 11. Everyone knows about the law of attraction, but nobody really knows about the other 11 laws that all encapsulate the law of attraction. As I've said over this series, the law of attraction is just one piece of the puzzle, and you have to learn about all the others in their entirety and how they all feed into each other to actually get a real good grasp on what manifesting within these universal laws actually looks like and what it all means. So let's get into the one that we're going to talk about today, which is the law of polarity. Now, polarity basically means that every single thing in the universe has an opposite. You can't have dark without light. You can't have day without night. You can't have joy without sadness. You can't have health without ill health. You know, there is an absolute opposite to absolutely everything. And the law of polarity really just basically states that if you don't experience one, you can't experience the other. So for example, right, and I've talked about the cold winters over because I've been recording this series over winter here in New Zealand. I have been sat over my heater, and I am again today. My heater is down here below the desk, and I'm warming my hands on it as we do these, and I'm like leaning over it, and I'm getting some warmth, and my legs are kind of clamped on it so that I can get some heat from, you know, so I can get some respite from the cold winters. But I would not be able to experience my love of summer and heat and sun, and know that I was a sun worshipper, and know that my favourite seasons in the entire world, no matter where I am in it, whether it's England, whether it's New Zealand, whether I'm on holiday in Australia or America or wherever I might be, if I didn't hate the cold, if I didn't know about the cold, if I hadn't experienced the cold, I wouldn't know that I worship the sun, right? I wouldn't know that the warmth, the sun on my face, and being outdoors on a warm day and just feeling that heat on my skin, I wouldn't know that that brings me joy, that that lights me up, and that that means so much to me. I wouldn't know about how I love the sun if I hadn't experienced the cold. And so that's what I mean when I say that everything has an opposite. You wouldn't get heat without cold. You know, I wouldn't know that going again, this all ties into the sunshine as well, and summer, and you know, loving summer and not liking winter. I wouldn't know that I was a daytime person, that I actually love the daylight, if I didn't experience the darkness at night. I wouldn't know that I want to live in a hot climate. That's not New Zealand, but you know, I wouldn't know that I wanted to live in a hot climate if I didn't experience the cold winters. And so that is the polar opposite. You know, joy has sadness, light has dark, black has white, up has down. There are polarities. The law of polarity is everywhere and is in everything. And you cannot experience one without knowing about the other. So the law of polarity basically is the universe's way of getting us to experience both sides of something so that we know what we actually want. Without polarity, without pain, without sadness, without fear, we wouldn't know that we don't want to experience those things, and we actually want the polar opposites of them, like happiness and joy and abundance and love and light and all of those things. And so the universe has brought the law of polarity on purpose to show us what we don't want, so that we can get really specific about what it is that we do actually want. You know, I talk about being grateful and I talk about gratitude, but it's really hard to show gratitude for happiness and for fun and for love if you haven't experienced sadness and fear and pain. And so that is the reason for the law of polarity. It's to prove to us, to show us, to enable us to get really specific and to really drum down into the detail and know exactly what we don't want, so that we can start to call in more of what we do. Now, the next law that I'm going to talk about here is the law of rhythm. And this one is basically sent to remind us that everything is cyclical and everything is seasonal. There will be good seasons and bad seasons. There will be seasons to sow and there'll be seasons to reap the harvest. There will be seasons of ups and there will be seasons of downs. The universe again sends us this law, the law of rhythm, to remind us that when we're going through the down, when we're going through the kind of the hibernation periods of our life, if you like, there is going to become, at some point, once you've got through that season, you're going to then experience the harvest season, the season where you reap what you sow, the season where you get what you want. And it's all cyclical. It's all cyclical. And it's kind of the law that shows us that there are times when we're going to need to work, and I hate the word hustle, but you know, put in the time and do the hustle. There are times when we need to be in our masculine, which is what that is. It's the work, the push, the do. That's our masculine. That's our masculine season. And then there are going to be times when we need to be in our feminine season, where we pull back and we rest and we rejuvenate and we become inspired again. And it's in the resting seasons, it's in the feminine, that we actually get the inspired ideas, that we get the hints of intuition, that we understand that we need the downtime to actually become this creative being and to actually get the things that we want. And I talk about the push and pull, I talk about the riding the wave, I talk about the letting the things come in, the pain come in, the breakdowns happen so you can get the breakthroughs. And that is basically the law of rhythm, right? When we're in our masculine, when we're in the do, and we're in the breaking down, we have to pull back and rest and recuperate and get into the lighter feminine, where we, you know, if you look at a woman's cyclical, you know, period, we are sent period. Sorry, boys, for any of you who are watching, but we as women are sent the time of the month to remind us that if we just keep continually work, push, family, work, house, do, then we'll burn out and we'll break down. And so we're sent on monthly cycle to remind us that this is the time that we rest. This is the time that we rejuvenate. This is the time that we step back into the feminine. And this is the time that we actually allow ourselves to pull back and actually be in the resting cycle. Because that's where our creativity sparks from. That is the time that we nurture our souls. That is the time that we rejuvenate our spirit. That is the time that we get to follow, to listen, to be at one with ourselves. So again, we can understand what it is that we actually want to create using the other universal laws. You know, we're taught in health and nutrition, we're taught that winter is the time to hibernate. You know, animals do this. Winter is the time to actually pull back into ourselves and to hibernate and to stop and to rest. And summer is a time to get out there and do and experience and create. And it's the same with the law of rhythm, right? We have our winters to experience our summers, law of polarity. We can't expect to be in winter for 365 days of the year, but we also can't expect to be in summer for 365 days of the year. We have the seasons, the cyclical nature within our life to tell us when to work and to tell us when to rest. And on that, on the masculine and the feminine, that is where the law of gender comes into play. You know, we have to again experience both. Whether you are male or female, we all have masculine tendencies and feminine tendencies. And it's when you can learn to balance both sides of that, that's when you actually truly live, right? If you are a male, yes, you may want to be masculine. Yes, you may want to be in that strong, that energy, that kind of, I am here and I'm doing it and I'm out there. Yes, you want to be in your masculine, but you also need to balance that with your feminine, with the polarity, with the law of rhythm, where you have your seasons. These three really do go hand in hand. And if you're feminine, you want to be in your soft, and you want to be in your nurture, and you want to be in your caring and emotion and look after, but you also need the masculine, the do, the get out there, the be something, because you can't experience life fully without having both masculine and feminine energies to coexist within you. And the real trick to manifesting is finding that balance between the two, the masculine and the feminine and the masculine. Embodying just one will actually lead you nowhere. If you're in your masculine, you'll be pushing so hard that you're going to get left frustrated and exhausted and burnt out. And so you then miss the feminine, which is the inspired action and the receiving of the creative idea and the allowing of your desires to actually come in and be born, to be put into fruition. And so that is the sweet spot. If you can balance both your masculine and your feminine with the law of gender, that is the sweet spot. That is when you literally, or you become unstoppable, because you're working with all. You're working with the natural seasons and cycles. You're working with the polarity. You are attracting. You are high vibe. You are using all of these 12 universal laws, the law of correspondence, the law of action, the law of vibration, the transmutation of energy, which I still can't say, the law of gender, the law of rhythm, the law of attraction. You are working within all of them, and it all then comes back to the law of divine oneness, which is where we started, because we are all connected in this lifetime. We are all one. We are all, working with source, with universal energy, with God energy, with source energy, with whatever you want to call it. We are all connected. We all stem from one and the same. And the more we can all get to grips with these 12 laws, and the more we can all understand them, and the more we can all work within them, the more we create the ripple effect of good throughout the world. The more we realize that if we stop the gossiping and stop the nitpicking of ourselves as well as others, the more we stop the negativity, the more we stop the putting ourselves and our world and our lives down, and the more we go up the emotional scale, the more we we grow our vibration, the more we lift our energies, the more we align with what we want and get specific about what we want, the more we raise the collective consciousness of absolutely everybody and everything on our physical planet. And that can only be a good thing. It can only be a good thing, because as I've said, many voices, many collective thoughts, many collective energies rising is what we want, and it's what we need. It's what the earth needs right now. It's what we all need right now after what we've lived through the last few years. We now need this collective outpouring of love and of high energy and of joy and of uplifting energy to drag us out of the sadness and the fear that we've been living in the last couple of years. This is the time the world needs to come together. This is where the light workers get to do our thing. This is where the light beings are going to lift. We've been taken to the lowest of low. We've had the breakdown, which is what the last few years have been about, and now we're breaking through, and now we're going to make the world a better place. And when you can get to grips with these 12 universal laws and actually use them actively and consciously within your own life, you get to be a part of that too. You get to uplift the people around you. You get to uplift yourself. You get to uplift the entire planet. And that has got to be a good thing. So I really hope that this series of 4 has been really useful, and we've done, the 3 and the 3 and the 3 and the 3 to get to the 12 universal laws. I hope you have a grasp on them now. I hope you have a better understanding of them. But I have written, as I said in, I think it was video 1, I have done a blog post about all of these as well. So if you want it in writing, if you prefer to read and have something with you, you can read the blog posts that I've written about it, where I go in a little bit more detail. But I've also got the PDF handout, which I'm going to put a link to at the bottom of all of these. So at any point, if you want that PDF handout, go and get it. And then that's going to give you the brief overview of what they all mean, so that you can start living your life within these 12 laws, so that you can start putting them all together, not just using the law of attraction, but using all 12 universal laws to change your life, because they all go hand in hand with each other, and they all interlock and interlink with each other to make life and manifesting and everything that you want that little bit easier. So I hope you've enjoyed this series. I've actually really enjoyed getting a bit deeper on these. Yeah, if you haven't watched the ones prior to this, if you stumbled upon this one first, go back and watch the others. Get your handout, get your PDF, get yourself over to read the blog post if you want to, and yeah, I'll be back next week with something new. So I will see you then. Bye.